How many FBI agents or confidential informants actively participated in the events of January 6th?
Sir, I'm sure you can appreciate that I can't go into the specifics of sources and methods.
Did any FBI agents or confidential informants actively participate in the events of January 6th? Yes or no?
Sir, I can't answer that.
Did any FBI agents or confidential informants commit crimes of violence on January 6th?
I can't answer that, sir.
Did any FBI agents or FBI informants actively encourage and incite crimes of violence on January 6th?
Sir, I can't answer that.
Ms. Sadburn, who is Ray Epps?
I'm aware of the individual, sir. I don't have the specific background to him.
It definitely looks like Ted Cruz is trying to redeem himself, as he was just a part of this unbelievable scene with the FBI assistant director refusing to answer any of his questions regarding the federal government's involvement in January 6th. Very telling, to say the least. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Rudowski here of WeAreChange.org. We got a lot of important news to get into as we have this latest bombshell story from Bloomberg that's reporting a shocking announcement by the Europeans' equivalent of the FDA, which of course has some major severe implications for the narrative moving ahead. We're going to get into that. There's also a prince in major trouble, as well as the federal government preparing for the worst possible situation here domestically inside of the United States. Now, there's so much news, we're just going to jump right into it, as of course we have the latest financial numbers highlighting how inflation has risen 7% over the past years, the highest since 1982, and as of course we know, the real numbers are even higher than that, as of course the U.S. federal government within the last 2 years has conducted one of the largest transfers of wealth in recorded human history, literally robbing, bankrupting the middle class and poor, while U.S. billionaires' wealth has increased to over 70% on average during this entire saga. This, of course, is leaving a lot of average Americans feeling discontent, disenfranchised, unhappy with their government, and the government's response here in the United States is to literally conduct guerrilla-style exercises fighting mock freedom fighters in central North Carolina, a part of a, quote, unconventional warfare exercise that is going to be happening between January 22nd and February 4th, all throughout much of central North Carolina. As, of course, military members will pose as opposing guerrilla freedom fighters who will be known as the, quote, Peenlands Resistance Movement, fighting, of course, against the U.S. military in this latest very concerning exercise that highlights that the government is preparing for such a possible scenario. This, as of course, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security has now officially released a statement warning about domestic munition production inside of the United States, as of course the DOJ just also announced a new counter-domestic terrorism unit that of course will look internally in this country with people who are politically disenfranchised. It says almost all the writing is on the wall that the government is preparing for something really bad, as of course it doesn't take a genius to tell you that the situation in this country is absolutely horrid, socially, politically, economically, and historically. That usually leads to civil unrest, as of course even according to the political scientist at Bochnia University, out of 57 events where there was a global sickness, only 4 of those occasions did not result in some kind of revolt, unrest, or major protest. As I think it's definitely fair to say the way that things have been going here domestically inside of the United States with their policies fighting the sickness, that their response, especially with the news that we're getting right now from Europe, is something that people are absolutely dissatisfied with. Are the feds preparing for this or some kind of other civil unrest or economic turmoil unrest or the political divide unrest. Who knows? They're preparing for it, but personally, I choose to be skeptical of these institutions since, of course, they have a horrid past of protecting some of the most nefarious, disgusting individuals in our society. As, of course, we have the latest news that the civil court proceedings against Prince Andrew will actually be continuing in a U.S. court. Surprisingly, we, of course, will be following this story very closely and even doing a bigger deep dive into it on LukeUncensored.com, our own exclusive platform where we will be releasing a very important video later on today, only exclusively available for members, who also, by the way, get Apocalypse Survival Training, Change Media University, and our latest Travel, Escape, and Expatting Hacking Masterclass, which is available free for members. 3 masterclasses, whatever you're interested in, all available to you in comprehensive videos. Many people said just make this a product on its own, and no, I refuse to do so. It's free for members because building up our own platforms is more crucial and essential than ever. So if you haven't signed up yet to LukeUncensored.com, what are you waiting for? Click the link down in the description right now. Now, why does it seem like the feds are scrambling here? Well, I think this also has a part to do with the official narrative and story that we've been told for so long, absolutely collapsing in itself in the face of many bureaucrats using the situation for their own political and economic benefit. I think this is perfectly highlighted by the latest moves made in Quebec, where their premier just announced this.
Announcing that we are currently working on a health contribution that will be charged to all adults in Quebec who refuse vaccine.
Yep, you heard that correctly. It's not a health contribution. It's not a tax. It's the government fining you because you weren't obedient to the whims of what they wanted you to do with your personal body. This decree, this fine against individuals not only violates bodily autonomy, but of course creates an Orwellian situation where the government is manipulating you and extorting you to buy a product from, of course, a big pharma agency. Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, is leading his support for these, quote, strong measures, and of course soon will be looking to implement some of those policies in all of Canada. This, as we're also finding out, according to a lot of the mainline institutions, like the CDC, like the Governor of New York, that a lot of our numbers that we've been getting surrounding this sickness have been absolutely incorrect. This is also the similar situation in Ontario, where we are finding out, according to Newsweek, that half of the hospitalizations are not related to, of course, the global sickness. And the same government that can't get its numbers straight, can't even count effectively, wants to extort and be a part of your own personal decisions over your health care. This policy is ridiculous, and when you give government too much control, this leads to absolutely ridiculous circumstances like right now unfolding in Los Angeles, where many individuals in the private and public sector were fired for not complying with the whims of government just a few weeks ago in December. And now the workers who have complied, who have gotten sick, who are testing positive for this sickness, are literally told to return to work immediately without isolating or testing themselves because of the lack of employees who choose to make their own decisions for their own personal health. Yes, in Los Angeles, hospitals are telling their workers, if they are sick, if they are testing positive, to still come and show up to work inside of medical facilities. But I thought they were protected because they took the product. This is, of course, a question that we've been asking for a very long time, and now European Union regulators that are akin to the American FDA are warning that if you take this product too much, there is data, there is findings showing that it could negatively affect your immune system and have a counter effect to what it proclaims to do. This is a bombshell report by the European Union regulators. This, of course, is collaborated with what the New York Times recently wrote about, highlighting how there are medical professionals warning that if you take too much of this product, this could lead to adverse health effects related towards catching this sickness, which it purports to protect against. So to have this regulatory warning come out of Europe, to have the New York Times, to have Bloomberg now openly report on it, directly puts a major cog in the wheel of this product selling, which has been done by major politicians all throughout the world. This is happening as there was also a latest Danish study that also absolutely obliterated the official narrative when it came to effectiveness and highlighting how people had negative protection after a certain period of time. Again, a lot of this information is still preliminary. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not here giving you any kind of medical advice, but the science here is still being clearly debated and discussed, which is an important factor that we need to understand before jumping to conclusions and stealing money from people for not getting this product. There's a lot of new information coming in. The responsible thing to do is to wait, to assess the situation, not to jump to conclusions, as of course the debate that's had right now is extremely important. One of Israel's top leading immunologists has just written a letter saying that the government's response to this entire situation is, quote, a shameful disaster driven by, quote, false propaganda. This is specifically Professor Uhed Amgaran, who is the head of the Department of Microbiology and Immunology at Tel Aviv University. And with the situation still figuring itself out, with billionaires only becoming richer by the day, with governments becoming least trustworthy of their citizens, preparing to even take them on, I think it's fair to say that the next few years will be challenging, to say the least. What do you think is going to happen? Let me know down in the comment section below, but I think it's fair to say that things are getting interesting, to say the least. I'm going to be doing my best to try to talk about it and to uncover it as honestly as I can. If you thought I did anything wrong, let me know why in the comment section down below. I always try to take a look at comments. I love constructive criticism. I know I could always do better, and I could only do better with, of course, your participation, and I'm just humbled to be able to spend some time with you. I got another video coming your way on LukeUncensored.com. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on wearechange.org.